Vice President Kamala Harris making another gaffe during a speech yesterday. Take a listen to this.
Together, we are expanding access to transportation. Seems like maybe it's a small issue, it's a big issue. You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
Joe Concha got home. We're getting him to get go with his reaction. Joe, you now have a president and a vice president who cannot seem to use basic sentence structure more often than not when addressing the public. How do you deal with this if you're the White House?
That's the thing. It's not like it's one time this happened or this happened maybe on two occasions over the last 18 months since Vice President Kamala Harris became vice president. There are many Thousand Island word salads to choose from here, Todd. Here's one from just 1 week ago. Quote, "Our world is more interconnected and interdependent. This is especially true when it comes to the climate crisis, which is why we will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work operating from the new norms, rules, and agreements that we will convene to work together on to galvanize global action." I don't know if this is being written for her or she's going off the cuff, but if they're being written for her, that person should be doing a job where you say, you know, do you want fries with that? But then there's the inspirational quote hanging in my studio, and this one is from COVID that I've said on the air before. "It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day, it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down." I mean, how did this person not win the nomination in the first place?
That's beautiful,
and there are many
Joe.
more to choose from here. Thank you. But we have finite time here. Democrats don't want Joe Biden to run. They don't want the vice president either. Or she'd be polling higher. She is not. She's failed in the border. She's failed on pushing voting rights. That failed in the Senate. There is no resume to run on. And it's certainly not on the ability to be a great orator to inspire people. That's for certain.
Well, Joe.
And yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
Thanks,
a reporter asked President Biden about the latest round of approval ratings that were just released, and he did not like the question. Listen here.
Mr. President, what's your message to Democrats who don't want you to run again?
They want me to run.
2/3 say they
Read
don't.
the polls. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. That poll showed that 92% of Democrats, if I ran, would vote for me.
Read the poll, Jack. You guys are all the same. The poll that the reporter was referring to is the New York Times one, where it says 64% of Democrats and 94% of Democrats under 30 prefer someone other than Joe Biden to run in 2024. The president was referring to 92% of Democrats that would choose President Biden over Trump if the two were going to run again in 2024.
Right. Carly, I think reporters may have pushed back on the president, but there apparently was no one named Jack within the row of reporters that was there with the president. And I think that was Mark Meredith, actually, of Fox News, of course, that he was speaking to. But, yeah, the president didn't want to answer the question because it's so devastating. You just said it. 2/3 of Democratic voters don't want a sequel in 2024. So when people say that, well, the party is going to convince Joe Biden not to run the next time around, Joe Biden may say, you're not taking the keys from me just yet. At this point, he may, want to run despite his poll numbers being where they are because he believes he can win again, especially if his opponent is Donald Trump. But I would think that then, therefore, Joe Biden would get primaried in that situation. But, the sitting presidents that get primaried tend to win out. But this shows you who Joe Biden is, right? Who can't seem to grasp how to solve inflation or gas prices or the border or the fentanyl crisis destroying this country. If he runs again, there will be no positive bumper sticker to run on as it stands now. It will just be to attack the other side without touting his own accomplishments, because there really are none at this point, Carly.
It appears to be that way.
I wonder if the White House is going to spin this Jack comment like, you and I always do Seinfeld references on here. I wonder if they're going to say, well, he was just doing the John Lovitz from Seinfeld impression. And no, it turns out, But in fact, what really is happening, he's not your Uncle Affable Joe anymore. He lashes out whenever the media calls him on something. And that's what that is. It is not a Seinfeld impression. Joe Concha.
Joe, thank you.
With his inspirational words from his placard from Kamala Harris this morning.
Of course.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Went to the Yankee game last night, speaking of the assistant to the traveling secretary, George could say, it had to go extra innings. So if I look a little groggy, it's because I got home at 12:30 at night. But I'm here for you, and that's the important thing, and I'll be back tomorrow on Fox and Friends First.
Joe made him do the wild pitch because he had to get here to do our hit. That's why the Yankees won.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.